right, listen everybody, this is something that you don't see every day. An entire massive mountain in Europe is breaking apart, and it is literally breaking apart. We can see it. We can look into the abyss. It's really, really crazy. And it's right on the border between Germany and Austria. So both countries are affected by this. The mountain is 8,500 feet high, close to 3,000 meters, and it's called the Hochvogel. It's a German word. If we translate it, it's like the high bird. But right now, this sky is splitting into two. And we're not talking about thousands of years. We're talking about right now, in real time. And that could have an effect. I mean, after Blatten in Switzerland, we all know what this means, because right now the scientists are not longer asking if it will collapse, only when. And I've reported about this, I think a year ago, but now here's the latest. At the summit of the Hochvogel, there's a massive fracture that has opened and widened since I last talked about it. And guys, I want to make clear, this is not just a crack. This is a deep structural break. And at that time of the year, when the snow is melting and rain is coming, that is when we have a very, very high risk of something like this happening. We've seen it with Blatten. This was the time when Shizzy started to hit the fizzy. And I want to tell you how deep this crack is, because that is massive. So we're talking about 130 feet deep. That's over 40 meters, guys. This is how you can look into this if you were as crazy and tried to go there and look down, because you might be standing on a mountain that literally could crack apart any moment. So you don't want to stand there. Wide, it's already 10 feet wide. That's over 3 meters, and it's cutting straight across the peak of the mountain. So this is quite a substantial mountain peak that everybody knows in the area. So they call it like the Matterhorn of the Allgäu. So Matterhorn is in Switzerland, but that's what they call it. It's a significant mountain peak that everybody recognizes. So if that's gone, bad, right? And I want to say that the depth and the width of that crack is growing every year about 1 to 2 inches. That's roughly like 3 to 6 centimeters. Like this doesn't sound much, but guys, that can have a huge implication, because it is going to lose stability at some point. And it seems we're not far away from that. So think about this. You really have to get this in your hand. We're dealing with a mountain that's 8,500 feet tall, and it's actively tearing itself apart inch by inch. And right now, we already have 140,000 cubic meters that were coming down from this peak. But we have around another 260,000 cubic meters of rock that are unstable right now. That's about 9 million cubic feet. They're ready to break loose, and probably will break loose all at once. And here is what makes this even more serious. The unstable section. Which country is affected? Germany and Austria. Are they both affected? Well, most likely we can say that where it's going to break apart, the shizzy is going to hit the fizzy in Austria, Österreich. If it collapses, it will fall into the Hornbach Valley. That's down below the summit. And guys, you have to understand, that won't be just falling rocks. That can trigger like a domino effect. We've seen it in Blatten. The top was breaking apart, falling on the glacier. Glacier was breaking apart, tearing everything with it. So we have probably in the works here. Starts to crack, starts to crumble, massive rock fall, debris flows, mud avalanches that are racing down into the valley within seconds. So the southern summit there is now classified as acutely unstable, acutely. So there used to be a climbing route right through this zone. It's called the Bäumenheimer Weg. This has been shut down for years, because if going up there right now is basically risking your life. But just 2 days ago, there was another article that hikers still want to get up there and are getting up there from the other side. They want to go up there one last time before it's gone. I think this is crazy. And you also see the images, how they're looking down into the abyss, right? This is the crack where the people are standing. I would not stand there. Absolutely not. This going up there right now is basically risking your life. And here is where it becomes something else entirely. The scientists are, of course, now monitoring this mountain. It's like a ticking time bomb, a ticking clock. And they have installed GPS sensors, laser scanners, seismometers, right? And they can detect movements smaller than a millimeter. And many scientists say, well, the mountain is singing. The seismometers are registering the slow cracking of the mountains. We know this from earthquakes. If something cracks, right, it creates the seismometers to scale. So because of that, this might be one of the few times in history actually where a mountain collapse can be predicted before it happens. So researchers are saying, if the crack suddenly speeds up from about 0.4 inches a day right now to 0.4 inches an hour, that's it. That's the warning sign. It's like if you want to fall a tree, right? You're hacking into it, you're hacking into it, you're hacking into it, and it gets thinner and thinner, and there comes that moment when the tree gets out of balance and starts to fall, so it accelerates. That's what's going to happen to that mountain. So if that's the warning sign that they're waiting for, right? 0.4 inches per hour. And at that point, authorities could have just 2 to 3 days before a major collapse. So it's going fast. But here's the part that most people get wrong. This is not about melting permafrost, what we're dealing with in Switzerland in many mountains. This mountain doesn't have permafrost. This is something else. This is not thawing and ice melting, glaciers melting, and then making the rocks unstable because the ice was keeping them together. This mountain is made of a brittle rock. That's the problem. The rock is called dolomite. And unfortunately, this rock is already naturally full of fractures. So what we're seeing right now is one of these fractures that is opening up under stress. Water now gets into the crack, makes it more vulnerable, right? Water gets in, it freezes, water expands. That, of course, is making the crack wider, and it slowly forces the mountain apart. And when it rains, like, everything accelerates. So that's why I said right now we're entering a critical phase. So the scientists observed that the movement is increasing 5 to 6 times faster during heavy rainfall, unfortunately. So what you're watching here will not be just a sudden disaster, and it's not a sudden disaster. This is a slow structural failure that is reaching its breaking point. We're close. And when that happens, it likely won't be one single collapse. At least that's what we're hoping for. That's what they were hoping in Blatten, and then everything came down at once, right? So, by the way, if you want to see what's happening in Blatten, I have an update there. I have a Blatten playlist. Check that out on my channel, and please leave this video a like and a hype. Doesn't cost you anything, but it helps my channel. Thanks for that. So right now the experts hope, they say they believe, it will happen in multiple stages over several hours. Now here's the part that sounds reassuring, but it isn't actually. It's not. Yes, we can say that the collapse zone is mostly uninhabited, but it's not just about one mountain, unfortunately, because the Hochvogel is showing us something bigger. Mountains in general, wherever they are, we've seen stuff in Switzerland, Germany, Austria, in France. They're not as stable as we think. And the same in the fjords in Norway, for example, or Alaska, where this has even worse implications if it falls into the water and we have these fjords, and it can have a bathtub effect with tsunamis up to, listen to this, 1,700 something feet. I'll put the video in the end screen. It's crazy. So even massive peaks that sit between countries and that look really permanent, that have become a landmark, they can fail and then they're gone. And right now, we're watching that happen. Live, guys. Absolutely live. So I hope you liked it. Check out the videos in the end screen. Really, really interesting stuff. And subscribe if you're new here. If you want to support the channel, check the link in the description. Fill me up with coffee. Click the join button to become a supporting channel member. You get behind the scenes videos about me, my private life. Thank you for your supers. Thank you for watching, commenting, sharing, liking, hyping, whatever. Thanks so much. You're awesome. And I see you in the next one. If you click here right away, stay prepared. Stay safe, guys. Assumptions can kill. We always say that. Bye-bye.